Hola, hola. My name is Ramon, cosmetic formulator, esthetician, UK resident. And along with that means I have access to some really good quality sunscreens. And that was one of the things that I was so excited for when I was first moving here. If you guys haven't seen already, I do have one video up on a review of a handful of some European sunscreens I got here at Boots. Well, we're back to do a round two. I have a few different options in front of me. I have Nivea or Nivea. I don't care how to pronounce it. If y'all clown me in the comments, that is on you. Bioderma and Vichy today. Before I get into the video, I do want to say, stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. I have an entire bag full of European sunscreens I have yet to review. I bought pretty much the entire lineup of Eucerin sunscreens. I also have a video coming up soon featuring Istin, Photoderm, and HelioCare. So hit the notification bell to know when those videos go live as well. So let's get into the sunscreens. I'll put a card up here about some other videos where I feature some other European sunscreens, but I am no stranger to these. I've been using these now for well over 6 months. For all of you see, I use my handy little 1/4 teaspoon to measure out the quantity. I do a full 1/4 teaspoon generally for face, ears, and neck, but for the video, since it's just face application, I do half of this, which is 1/8 teaspoon. I'll work that in, let it sit in for a few minutes so you can see the final finish and the look of it on the skin, as well as if there's any white cast. So getting started, first one we have is from Nivea. This is their Nivea Sun UV Face Shine Control. This I bought a long time ago and actually got confused because I ended up buying 2 of these because one of them on the box just said Shine Control and the other one on the box said Mattifying Effect, and I thought they were separate things. They're not the same thing. This is from Nivea. These cost £6. They cost £6 when I first bought them, although now they are £8 at Boots, but the magic of Boots is a lot of times they have sales. This is an SPF 50 and it does have the UVA circled on it. They do designate this as high UVA, UVB protection. On the back of this, it does have 4-star UVA protection in the Boots Star system. Some marketing details. Nivea Sun UV Face Shine Control offers sun protection specifically designed for facial needs. Light formula offers long-lasting and instant mattifying effects. You will note that. The cream absorbs excess oils from your skin's surface and you'll be protected from UV and high energy visible lights, which can cause premature aging. Your skin will feel light, non-greasy, non-sticky. It is eye friendly and ophthalmologically proven as well. Worth noting, compared to the other ones in the video, this one is not water resistant. Formula details: UV filter wise, avobenzone for UVA, octasalate for UVB, Tinosorb S, broad spectrum, and Solizol for more UVB, and then Uvinol T150 for UV as well. This does have alcohol, fragrance, and essential oils in there. And so it's really interesting when they're like, oh, it's sensitive skin friendly, when it does have those components. And also the eye irritancy one is interesting as well, because I mean, like, how do you test that? I know how it's tested, but realistically, that's a very general statement to make considering how subjective skin feel and overall experience can be with something like this. It does have a couple things like tapioca starch and silica, which aid in some of the mattifying oil absorbing benefits to it. But then it also has this specific licorice based extract, and in the marketing for it, it does say that this does offer high energy visible light protection. This specific licorice extract in this is the same exact one in my Holy Grail Eucerin sunscreen. But aside from that, tocopherol acetate for vitamin E, antioxidant benefits, and that's kind of the extent of formulation standouts. My experience with this, you can see with the application, the texture for this is like, it's a little bit creamy. It's got a little bit more body. It's not a true gel, which I mean, for the sake of comparison. The Eucerin that I talked about, that is one of my favorites, very gel texture. This gel cream is a little bit more body to it. And I just mentioned there's a little bit more of an emollient component to the formulation of this. It leaves a semi-radiant finish and it looks like it's going on like a moisturizer. This is one of those products that I use straight after rinsing as a one and done product. This is my moisturizer, my sunscreen, has a little bit something extra in there as well, but I don't put much underneath this because the texture of this is a little bit more moisturizing. You can see as it sets down. To me, it just leaves a natural glow to the skin. I don't think it's not very greasy. It's not very heavy, but it is a moisturizing finish. What's interesting is the mattifying, the shine control. That to me is a bit of a stretch. This to me is not mattifying in the slightest, but it is very oily skin compatible. The way I see it is it kind of leaves a natural glow on your face and basically controls your oils from making you look any more shiny. But you do have a natural like radiance to you that gives your skin some life. You're not flat, matte, dead. But this is arguably, I think, my favorite in this entire video, and I do use this very regularly because it's very convenient for me, especially on days when I need a little bit more moisturization. Next up on the list, and this is one I think I had a lot of comments when I did the first European sunscreen video being like, try Bioderma, try Bioderma. So I got a couple from them. This is the Bioderma Photoderm Max SPF 50 Plus Aquafluid. No, this is the yellow tube. This is SPF 50 Plus. And this one has no tints. Apparently they offer a light tint and then a gold tint for this one. I don't know what that gold means. I don't know if it means that it's like my complexion or darker, but this does also come in tinted versions. I just have the regular non-tinted one. This was £15. This offers high UVA, UVB, anti-shine protection. I found it on a separate retailer site because this is no longer on Boots website. Don't know why. This had a UVA PF specifically of 24, and I'm only noting that because UVA isn't circled anywhere on this, I don't believe, and also it doesn't give me a Boots star rating either. Marketing points: pleasant and easy application thanks to a fluid texture as light as water. Dry touch finish, ideal for all skin types, even combination to oily, sensitive skin, or intolerant to all types of sunlight. Very fair skin with freckles, and exposed skin to maximum sunlight. Those are all the skin types and conditions that this is acceptable for. Oil-free formula, non-greasy texture, good skin tolerance, non-comedogenic, unfragranced, water resistant. And then main marketing points behind Bioderma's sunscreens is they have a cellular bioprotection, trademark, patent. And that is essentially some sort of like antioxidant situation that they say boosts the overall sun efficacy. And that is some sort of like Bioderma proprietary patent on a specific formulation component that boosts sun protection factor of your skin in aiding with the sunscreen. The marketing for it was really weird. But on top of that, this also has a synergistic combination of 3 powders that give a mattifying dry touch finish. Filters in this features octocrylene, which is UVB into some of the longer wavelength UVA, Tenosorb M, which is a hybrid filter. It is a chemical filter by composition, but it's an insoluble particle. So it's a solid particle that's suspended in the formulation. So it acts a little bit more like a mineral filter. You have avobenzone, which is UVA1 and UVA2. And then that Tenosorb M, I believe, is broad spectrum. And then Tenosorb S, which is broad spectrum as well. So really good broad spectrum protection and then bumps up on either end as well. This is alcohol, fragrance, and essential oil free, which is worth noting because they do make claims that this is like great for sensitive skin or very compromised skin. And then you have the things that help with the water resistance, the mattifiers. This does have more emollients in the formulation, I think. Experience for this, you can see as I'm depositing it into the teaspoon, this is liquidy. And if I could just boil this down to one statement, this is like the sister, the wannabe sister of the La Roche-Posay and Thelios Aquafluid sunscreen. Very similar texture, and it feels like it wants to be the same product, but there's a lot of things that they're not the same. First and foremost, talking about the UV protection. Mind you, SPF 50 plus, no UVA circled on this that I could find. I also did throw away the box though, so if you got the box and it's circled on there, comment that down below. But there's also no Boots star rating on this either, and I did find a UVA PF rating of 24, which if you're using like the PPD system, like the PA plus system you see on Korean sunscreens, this would be a PA 4 plus technically, and regardless, that is a great daily sunscreen situation. The other part of this is the fact that it says it's supposed to be matte with powder dry touch finish. If you look on the screen, I feel like I have a gloss to me. It's not greasy, but it's like I look shiny, and I don't understand that. And I don't like the way this looks on my skin, if I'm gonna be honest. Part of that reason is because after a little bit, I feel like my skin looks dry but oily, if that makes any sense. But also this has that Tenosorb M component, and I mentioned it basically functions like a mineral sunscreen. It makes this cling to my facial hair. So it looks like I essentially have a dusting of like white setting powder all over my mustache, my eyebrows, my hairline, and my beard. So this is one thing I like to wear under makeup because I think it does prep the skin nicely for makeup. I just don't like it by itself. And also the other part of it is it does this thing on like my under eyes where it gives them like a gray cast. Next up though, from Bioderma again, this is their Photoderm AKN Matte. Notice this is a white bottle, and this is SPF 30. For this one, UVA is circled, but again, no designation on Boots stars for this. Marketing for this, a Bioderma innovation, the exclusive fluid active, trademark, patent in Photoderm AKN Matte, biologically regulates sebum quality to keep pores from becoming clogged and prevent the appearance of blemishes, which is often exacerbated after periods of sun exposure. Photoderm AKN Matte offers real internal biological protection, again, that cellular bioprotection patent. And then it also says this exclusive patent preserves and stimulates the skin's defenses during sun exposure. So basically, long-lasting matte claims, non-greasy finish, no white cast. They want to emphasize this one does have a scent to it and that this is also waterproof. So talking about some of the claims, that fluid active was interesting because this one is matte. I mean, it's in the name, matte. This one specifically talks about a patent to regulate sebum and keep the skin matte that the other Photoderm didn't have. The patented complex fights against sebum thickening in order to keep pores from becoming clogged and to minimize the risk of blemishes appearing, which is interesting. So this features salicylic and glycolic acid. I don't think I've ever seen glycolic acid in a sunscreen, period. And I don't think I've ever seen salicylic acid in a sunscreen either. Those are exfoliants, which is fun. I like that. Again, one and done products. Who doesn't love that? Get your exfoliation and your sun protection all in one go. ago. But I think those are partly responsible for that sebum regulating benefit, salicylic acid, as well as the component of preventing the pores from becoming clogged. Then you also have tocopherol and tocopheroacetate, so both forms of vitamin E. Then you have ectoin and propylgallate, which are antioxidants. You also have ginkgo biloba extract, which always reminds me of Fenty Skin, love her. And then golden kelp, which is a kelp extract and kind of aids in water binding, so it's like humectant benefits, but can also potentially have some skin soothing benefits or antioxidant benefits as well. Filters, this has octocrylene, so UVB, UVA2, tinosorb M, once again, so that's that broad spectrum hybrid filter, and then avobenzone for UVA protection. Less filters, but interesting assortment. Again, this is only SPF 30, which is perfectly adequate, great daily protection, or if you don't necessarily need the high factor, because again, this is water resistant, so it's great for daily on the go or just like minimal sun exposure, or for example, you might sweat a lot. But again, it's interesting. Again, I point out, this is SPF 30, does have that UVA circle. Could not find a UVA PF rating for this, but the other Bioderma doesn't have that. Why is that? But as you see with the application, similar body, similar texture. It's very watery, lightweight. It is giving that La Roche-Posay and Thelios fluid. This goes on nicely though. I think I have a preference for this specific one over the other Bioderma. What I will say is that I also definitely like to moisturize well underneath this. This in itself does have some emollient, some body to it, but the mattifying effect of this on non-moisturized skin can get very unpleasant very quick. So if you moisturize very well, I think this is beautiful for oily skin. I would not recommend these for dry skin, I'm gonna be honest, just for that finish and texture issue. And for either of these, if you have deep skin, I would not count on these just because of that tinosorb M elements. And then last sunscreen, this is the Vichy Ideal Soleil Mattifying Face Dry Touch Sun Cream. So I was very excited to try some Vichy options. Vichy to me is like very French pharmacy. I don't know why, because I think technically Bioderma is too, but Vichy is like the pinnacle of like French pharmacy to me. So I was very excited to try this out. This is £16.50 for 50 ml. The marketing behind this is Ideal Soleil Mattifying Face Dry Touch SPF 50, helps protect the skin against the harmful effects of sun and UV, has soft, dry touch, zero shine, water resistant finish. They do say it's suitable for combination and sensitive skin, and then it's enriched with Vichy mineralizing thermal water. Again, this is SPF 50. This does have a UVA plus circled. There is no UVA PF indicated on this either, but I do trust that this has good protection. This formula includes a wide spectrum filter system and photostable UVA UVB based mixorals. Mixorals are L'Oreal patented filters. Vichy is a L'Oreal sub brand. And then that Vichy mineral water. So a lot of brands like La Roche-Posay, Vichy really center around this thermal water situation, and Vichy, they explain it like this. Vichy mineral water strengthens the natural defenses of the skin. The volcanic water of Vichy was born from the volcanoes of Auvergne, rich in 15 essential minerals. So essentially it's like water that's volcanic water enriched with minerals that can really aid in the skin barrier function and moisturization and blah, blah, blah. So filter wise, you have homosalate, octosalate, Evenol T150, tinosorb S, Mixoral XL, avobenzone, octocrylene, Mixoral SX, and nano titanium dioxide. So you got a whole salad up in there of UV filters. Primarily, these are all chemical filters. We do see that nano titanium dioxide, always a concern anytime we see a mineral or mineral adjacent filter, but it's nano, so that hopefully will aid in a little bit more elegance per se. But aside from that, this is alcohol free, but this is fragrance, and this is fragranced underline exclamation points. This is perfumey. It's giving Macy's fragrance counter. The fragrance on this one is strong, and if you have compromised skin, I'm gonna be honest, my eye areas right now, very compromised. They were on fire when I put this on. So I don't know why this is compatible with sensitive skin, because I disagree. That's just me. And then there's a couple botanical based extracts. So for example, there's a cinnamon botanical extract in this, which I looked into what it could potentially do skin wise, and it has potentially, a study saw some potential in anti-terrosinase and antioxidant benefits, which basically means it can kind of help with pigment fading benefits and also some antioxidant protection. The big one for this one though is that it's mattifying. It's mattifying, dry touch. I agree with those claims, but I didn't find it was a very elegant experience. You can see I put it on. This is more of a gel situation, so it's very reminiscent of the Eucerin. It's not as moisturizing though. It doesn't have that emollients that the Nivea one kind of does. This one definitely does have this dry down, like dry touch effect. That fragrance is so strong, and it does linger for like at least half an hour afterwards, maybe a little bit more. And that's definitely just the biggest thing. This does have that fragrance to it. Texture wise, this does wear really nice under makeup. I find it does prep the skin well. I'm wearing it under my face right now. If you moisturize well underneath this, you don't have any issues with it clinging to texture or any dry patches on the skin, but you do have to moisturize. Even having oily skin, use a gel moisturizer, but you will have to prep your skin adequately for this. And you can't see it right now, but when I look in the mirror, I see it. I just have like a coating, a dusting of whites on my facial hair, my mustache and everything, and my eyebrows because of this. And I'm gonna attribute that more to the titanium dioxide in this. So it's not really elegant in dark hair, dark facial hair or whatnot. So that's another big con. If you apply this in the right way, this is very nice, it's very workable, but you will have to tolerate that fragrance. So with that, that is round 2 of European Chemist Pharmacy sunscreens. This was a toss-up. Really, some of these are not that great, or they're like very mid-tier. There's like things I could do to like bump them up, but they're not great. The Nivea one I think is my favorite out of all these, and I do reach for it pretty substantially. Let me know down below in the comments section, what other boots related or European Chemist sunscreens do you want to see me review on the channel? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, and fancy related content on my channel. Give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.